Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Watching multiple things in the forecast for the state today. Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. Some impacts with fog, haze, wildfire smoke, and also potentially some isolated storms. A number of us east and west there do have major heat risks that are still out there today with highs in the 90s. Friday, I'll start watching for chances of rain. This is the total precip forecast over the next 5 days. Chances Friday night, especially likely for rain chances Saturday and Saturday night. Some heavy and excessive rain may bring in some local flash flood potentially again today. Find your spot on the map if you're to the north there. And some of us including Martinsburg, a marginal risk of isolated severe storms and isolated damaging wind. Can't be ruled out with a passing storm today. Again, the threat is going to be isolated. High of 89, low at 66 in Charleston yesterday. Haze, fog, smoke. The northern panhandle is included in an air quality alert today. Some of the fires that originated up in extreme northern Minnesota and western Ontario, Canada. We have a northwest wind flow aloft pulling in some wildfire smoke, so there may be some impacts with visibility and air quality this week. Fly saver forecast, still some heat for a number of spots here, 90s and up to 101 in Washington, D.C. today with smoke as well. Again, some northern areas, be mindful of low visibility and potentially hits to air quality. May need to take proper precautions with air quality alerts today. And lows in the ranks of the 60s tonight. To the east, still hot. We have highs mid to upper 90s. Martinsburg near 99, 69 tonight. Watching for some patchy, potentially smoke. Haze, smoky skies. Generally near and south of Clarksburg, the slight chance of storms quickly drops. Warm lows in the 60s and 70s, and some hot low to mid 90s in some southern areas today, with some widespread hazy skies possible. Saturday, rain likely. Chance of a strong to severe storm.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
Flock cameras, data centers, President Trump. How's that for a trigger warning? It's Metro News Talkline. We are underway.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the Metro News Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is Metro News Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check set lineup link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Q Dave and TJ. You're on. Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Welcome inside the Encova Insurance Studios. Dave in Morgantown, TJ's in Charleston. Say good morning to our great radio affiliates all across and around the state of West Virginia. We appreciate you letting us be part of your day. Also, thanks if you're watching in on the Metro News TV app, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. You can download the Metro News TV app to your mobile device, smart TV as well. Get all of the great Metro News programming available there. Hoppy Kercheval stops by, second hour of the program. We'll get into a couple of topics, including public education and, well, why nobody's reading anymore. Hoppy wrote something about it. I didn't really read it. We'll get into that coming up second hour of the show. Also, Andy Skidmore, Putnam County Commissioner, will join us. He was among those who recently took a trip to visit a Google data center in New York. We'll talk to him about that, what he learned, and what's happening there with the Buffalo site in Putnam County. Also, we'll get to your phone calls, texts, and tweets, as we always do, 800-765-TALK and 304-TALK-304, the text line. Intern Mila handling the video stream under the supervision of the professional Jake Link, and Ethan Collins is our audio producer. Say good morning, TJ Meadows in the Charleston Bureau. TJ, top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning, sir. I'm worried the dean is going to be disappointed in me because audiobooks is where it's at. Does that count? I mean, that's a question I have for him. I don't know.
Count? Let's put it to the audience. Do audiobooks count as reading?
I say they do.
You know what? If you got any commute time, those are a great way to utilize the time for something more productive than listening to Top 40. No offense to my Top 40 friends.
Well, I mean, here's the way I look at it. Prior to this job, I mean, all I did all day long was read orders from regulatory commissions that are hundreds of pages long. And then now I read newspaper after newspaper after newspaper. I'm a little tired. So an audiobook, I can listen to something. And I'm all in.
I do have to ask you before we dive into flock cameras here.
Yeah.
Do you have the Open Championship, and that's the last time I'll refer to it as that, on one of the monitors this morning?
No, I got News Nation on. Maybe I should flip over.
You need more monitors, TJ. You need more monitors there in the studio. I have one
big one, and then the other ones fold back. I mean, I have YouTube TV here, so I could have all that up at the same time, multiple. I just didn't do it.
Full disclosure, I got the British Open on. I got all the news covered, the weather, and the British Open. I can't turn down live sports during the workday.
Well, I don't blame you for that.
Scotty Scheffler lining up a putt on 17, by the way. I digress. Earlier this week, the Huntington City Council approved on a 6-4 vote a contract with Flock that includes 46 license plate readers, 17 live video cameras, 2 drones, and 2 gunshot audio devices. That contract is for $2.1 million over 5 years. More than 50 people spoke during the marathon meeting in opposition to the contract. Tonya Rumbaugh, among the city council members who voted against that contract with Flock. She joins us on MetroNews Talkline this morning. Tia, good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Hello.
Appreciate you coming on. So why the no vote?
Well, after reviewing 106 pages of contractual lease obligations, there were a lot of red flags in the contract itself. And outside of it being incredibly expensive, in comparison to how we allocate money throughout a lot of other very needed services in our community, Flock itself as a vendor is under pending litigation all across the country. There's been many, many lawsuits against it as an entity around our country. It is the company with the scarlet letter on it right now. So I don't think that our city needs to get in a relationship with a company that is documented as being as unethical as Flock. That's not to say that there are not other vendors that could provide a similar, more secure and more ethical approach to what our law enforcement department needs. But specifically Flock and the language in the contract, it was an absolute no vote for me.
Did city council or the city administration, to your knowledge, ponder whether or not what Flock does is constitutional? Was that ever part of the debate?
That's an interesting question. An investigative journalist named Kyle Vass did a FOIA request and dropped like 500 emails on the Friday before the council vote on this past Monday. So I was able to look through several hundred of them. I did not see any communication discussing that particular topic amongst the legal counsel, of course, the police chief. That probably would not be something under his purview to discuss, or any of the folks that were in those email exchanges. That might not be the entirety of the email or written correspondence or conversations, obviously, that happened, but not to my knowledge.
Should that have been evaluated?
Absolutely. I think that when you have a big purchase like that, there's a bid process where you compare vendors. And so not only are you looking for like the most cost effective, but you're also looking at how does that vendor provide their services? Have they not fulfilled promises in the past, et cetera? So that type of vetting is normally handled by our purchasing department. And for whatever reason, our administration did not consider other vendors. And as far as I can tell, did not do that type of vetting on this particular organization.
Tia Rumbaugh, member of Huntington City Council, joining us, force old habit there, on MetroNews Talkline this morning. What are a couple examples of the red flags in the contract that made you pause?
The very first thing is that there are clauses that say these portions of the contract will be governed by the privacy policy located at this URL. So when a contract points to a document on Flock's servers, it means that it's not cached. There's not a written privacy policy that's referring to. And so the terms of that privacy policy, they can change at any point on their side. And then we are in effect agreeing and consenting to them changing their privacy policy at any point. So that's the type of loophole and doublespeak that was rife throughout the contract, as well as during the meeting, because I only got the copy of the contract Friday at 4:00, and our meeting took place on Monday evening. So I was only able to briefly look through the privacy policy, and which had a sub URL linked into it for terms of use during the meeting itself. And it redefined like personal information. Personal information is what they promise in our paper contract that they're not going to sell. Okay, great. But in the privacy policy, which our contract refers to, the video footage collected by the devices is not defined as personal information. It's redefined as footage, so they can do whatever they want with the footage. Share it with third parties, advertisers, or indefinitely own it to improve their services. And when an organization uses a term like improve our services, that could be anything. You can improve your company by selling something and getting more money for it, right? So it was just red flags all over when it comes to privacy and our constitutional rights.
So is your opposition specific then to the vendor Flock, or is it an opposition to surveillance technology overall?
Well, at this time, I would say to specifically Flock as a vendor, that was a primary objection, because I recognize that surveillance technology is in use already within Huntington. We have our own servers, our own body cams, our own live stream cameras at specific areas that the Huntington Police Department or the City of Huntington, we have our own IT department. We have that in-house. And so, but it's not shared with tech billionaires and Amazon Web Services and things like that outside of our control. So and it's only utilized for our investigative purposes. Our residents' data is not being shared with retailers or China or anyone, whereas a relationship with Flock specifically doesn't guarantee that right. It takes away the control, and we have no reason, because they have a documented history of saying that they're going to do one thing and then going back on it, lying to city councils, over-promising, under-delivering. And so I just don't think that we can trust them as a vendor to actually keep our data safe. Parents have reached out and said, I don't want pictures of my kids going out onto the internet. Some families don't even take pictures of their children and put them on Facebook. So why would they want a constant 24/7 camera outside of, say, Meadows Elementary School, taking pictures of their kids and streaming it to who knows where? That's where things get really dicey and residents are scared. And I concur with that. There's no reason for it, not for our officers to do what they need to do.
Tia, I'd like to transition to this juxtaposition that's been created. And here's what I'm referring to. Huntington City Council voted this in. You're moving forward with a contract with Flock. The next day, the village of Barbersville, Mayor Chris Tatum says, not happening here. You guys are obviously very close. Do you worry there could be economic consequences where people will patron Barbersville, but not patron downtown Huntington?
Absolutely. In one of the email correspondence that was released, a Flock representative who is summarizing a conversation that they had with the police chief and I believe Mayor Farrell said, "We're excited to work with you to deter crime and improve economic development in downtown Huntington." And yet yesterday, all across Huntington, businesses were calling me up and saying, this has been the worst day on record for our lunch rush. We've had no one in our retail store. And so whether it's, causation or correlation, there was, and it's not necessarily a protest. It's just folks are scared and have said, and hundreds of comments that I've received and emails, et cetera, saying, I'm not going to come to Huntington anymore. I don't want to come to downtown. Not only are they concerned about the parking, which we have lots of parking. I think the parking's great, but they don't want to be surveilled. And so I think we really have to take that into consideration. Barbersville is amazing. Love Mayor Tatum. I'm really excited that he and I think Shane Evans, the mayor of Milton, also put out a statement that they recognize the resources that their law officers have and the capability of their officers is sufficient. Now, granted, the population of Barbersville is like 3,500 versus Huntington, which is 35,000, 45,000, and then Marshall students, et cetera. So our Huntington Police Department does have a much higher lift, and we also support Barbersville. We have an MOU so that our department will help Barbersville, et cetera. So there's always collaboration, thankfully, and the work that they do, our law officers, is incredibly difficult. And I want to give them all the resources possible. But at the end of the day, if our downtown, nobody comes, nobody shops, and everybody goes out to Barbersville or the mall, it's absolutely going to undermine the value of investing $2.2 million into this system.
What's the difference between Flock having this data and all of those business owners that talk to you? I'm sure they have surveillance cameras. Walmart uses facial recognition every time I use the self-checkout lane. Sheetz knows exactly what I'm purchasing every time I go to get gas and go get a sandwich while I'm there. We're being surveilled 24/7. Why should the police department not have this tool to keep track of violent offenders or to respond as quickly as possible to an Amber Alert?
Well, there's a lot to unpack there. So, for example, a private company, I have security cameras. I used to run a daycare. Actually, I had a daycare in the first floor of my house, and I had cameras set up in the house so that parents could log into the cameras and watch how I, as a childcare provider, worked with their children as long as they were in our care. And at like 7 o'clock, the cameras turn off. So I'm used to being surveilled. I understand it, but there's so as a private entity, a private company, Lowe's has Flock technology. Let's see, Target, Walmart, things like that. If you're a private entity, you have a sign up that says, "Hey, when you walk into this premise, you're being recorded." And you as a person can absolutely walk into a private establishment and be forewarned if you're walking in there that you're being recorded. So private entities, that's what Flock is. Flock is not a government entity. Singapore, UK, they have constant surveillance in their communities, but those are government-run surveillance systems, and Flock is a private company. So that's one of the big differences. And when I think about Flock as currently, when we walk down our streets and stuff, we have a right to privacy, right? We assume that we are not being surveilled if we're walking down the street, right? We think that no one's listening to us, for example. In the current package, there are audio detection devices, which have a half-mile radius. And so they pick up voices. And then those voices are compared by their AI technology to see, is it a voice or is it a gunshot? Is it fireworks? What is it? Does it meet the criteria and pattern of some sort of crime happening? So that's an example of where our flock technology is a little bit different than what you might experience in a private location like Lowe's or Target or Walmart. I think having audio detection, recognizing, picking up our voices, that's another level that most folks wouldn't think when they're walking down the street. Different than, say, yes, in public, you can have a photo taken of you. And then there's also the concept of the duration of the data and observation, right? You're in public for a moment, someone briefly sees you, briefly takes a photo of you, something like that. The issue that other proponents are bringing up is that it's constant surveillance, 24/7, and so that it's not just occasional. Sorry to ramble, but there is so much to unpack about the differences here that how much time do you got?
Not enough today, Tia. We'll have to leave the conversation there for the moment. We appreciate you coming on, though. Thanks for the perspective.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Tia Rumbaugh, member of Huntington City Council. I apologize. It's an old habit. Tia Rumbaugh, Huntington City Council there. She was a no vote on the flock cameras. We'll get your thoughts at 304-TALK, 304-TALK-LINE from the Encova Insurance Studios.
Right now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
In West Virginia, community is everything. It's about showing up for each other. Vin Salengo and the team at Salengo Law don't just work here, they live here, proudly sponsoring local events and giving back to the neighborhoods they love. So when you're facing a serious injury, trust the local team that's always in your corner. They spent over 25 years fighting for West Virginia families. Salengo Law. Get results, not excuses. Visit us at salengolaw.com.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Need a truck that's ready for work, weekends, and everything in between? Right now at DanCava GMC, get up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500, or save up to $4,000 off all new GMC Canyon Elevations, offering bold styles, advanced technology, and everyday practicality. Come explore our all-new GMC Yukons, built for busy families and big adventures. All this and more at DanCava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the road.
Of course, the LVAD was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Coming up, Tonya J. Powers, Fox News Radio, will preview President Trump's address to the nation. That's 9 o'clock tonight. We'll talk to her. Text her 304-TALK, 304. Northern Dave, that's a heck of a trigger trifecta. If you would have added Hoppy, you would have had the superfecta. I didn't know I had to give a trigger warning for Hoppy's appearances, but maybe I should.
Emotions are running high.
Hop will join us coming up 11:06. More on these flock cameras. I've got thoughts. I'm sure TJ has thoughts as well. We'll share those thoughts. You can share your thoughts at 304-TALK, 304 coming up. Tonya J. Powers. A little bit later on, Andy Skidmore, president of the Putnam County Commission, will join us. We'll get into the data center in Buffalo. This is Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. It's 10:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening across the great state of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Jeff Jenkins. The State Public Service Commission hearing from Mom Power Company officials today on why the agency should...
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Solango Law. Get results, not excuses.
I'll watch in multiple things in the forecast for the state today. Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. Some impacts with fog, haze, wildfire smoke, and also potentially some isolated storms. A number of us east and west there do have major heat risks that are still out there today with highs in the 90s. Friday, I'll start watching for chances of rain. This is the total precip forecast over the next 5 days. Chances Friday night, especially likely for rain chances Saturday and Saturday night. Some heavy and excessive rain may bring in some local flash flood potential again today. Find your spot on the map if you're to the north there. As some of us including Martinsburg, a marginal risk of isolated severe storms and isolated damaging wind. Can't be ruled out with a passing storm today. Again, the threat is going to be isolated. High of 89, low at 66 in Charleston yesterday. Haze, fog, smoke. The northern panhandle is included in an air quality alert today. Some of the fires that originated up in extreme northern Minnesota and western Ontario, Canada. We have a northwest wind flow aloft pulling in some wildfire smoke, so there may be some impacts with visibility and air quality this week. Fly saber forecast, still some heat for a number of spots here, 90s and up to 101 in Washington, D.C. today with smoke as well. Again, some northern areas, be mindful of low visibility and potentially hits to air quality. May need to take proper precautions with air quality alerts today. And lows in the ranks of the 60s tonight. To the east, still hot. We have highs mid to upper 90s. Martinsburg near 99, 69 tonight. Watching for some patchy, potentially smoke. Haze, smoky skies. Generally near and south of Clarksburg, the slight chance of storms quickly drops. Warm lows in the 60s and 70s, and some hot low to mid 90s in some southern areas today, with some widespread hazy skies possible. Saturday, rain likely. Chance of a strong to severe storm.
This is Ben Solango with Solango Law. Solango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Solango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Solango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at solangolaw.com.
Looking for a show that talks about everything? You found it.
Have you forgotten the words you said to me? This guy, this glasses wearing, he's like, man, Dave Allen's been at it all day. No producer. And he says this to me while I'm actively producing Metro News Midday. So, just to illustrate what it's like to not have a producer, Coop, why don't you take 5 for a second?
Hotline on Metro News Television.
Text line 304-TALK 304. We'll get some of your texts coming up. 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. That is the phone number. Hoppy joins us at 11:06. President Trump will address the nation tonight. He's expected to discuss elections and push for the SAVE Act. Fox News Radio's Tonya J. Powers joins us. Tonya, good morning. What else can we expect from the president tonight?
Hey, good morning. Well, he's been pretty vague, to be honest. We do know that, as you mentioned, a reporter had asked him on Tuesday if his address would concern election machines and integrity. He said it would concern that subject and a couple of other things. We'll have a couple of other things to say also, was his quote. He said he went on to say that he has really, really big news and our country has to shape up. He said that's what they're going to be talking about. He's going to be talking about on Thursday. Now, yesterday there was a statement from the White House, the press secretary, who said the truth is nobody knows yet what the president will ultimately say, which is why everyone should tune in.
Is the president kind of like Howard Stern? And I don't mean to be funny in that, but people listen to see what he was going to say next. I mean, is that kind of what's going on with President Trump? I mean, that's unusual, isn't it? That we have really no idea what a president is going to address the nation on?
Yes, it is, for the short answer. Usually first of all, when there's a primetime presidential address, I think most of us are old enough to remember when that meant everybody get around the TV now. I realize that, is long ago. However...
Uh-oh. Did we lose Tonya?
Going on. Either we've just been attacked, or they found Osama bin Laden, or there's, we've started a war, or something is going on big, some sort of nationally significant event or a milestone of some sort. That's what we normally see. That has not necessarily been the case in the last, 10 years or so, but that is traditionally how these have been treated. And the other kind of traditional part of that is the media normally gets at least an excerpt, if not more of a concrete idea of these are the following things that you're probably going to hear the president talk about. The economy or whatever, foreign policy, whatever the thing is. Normally we get at least some sort of excerpt from it. If we've gotten one of those, I haven't seen it.
Tonya J. Powers, Fox News Radio. Make of this what you will. Vice President Vance posting on X in the last 10 or 15 minutes. Let's deliver for the people who sent us here and use reconciliation to send as much of the Save America Act as possible to President Trump's desk. I wonder if that's a preview of what we might hear more of tonight.
It might be. I mean, the president's been pretty adamant about the fact that he wants that passed. He has held up, he wouldn't sign the housing bill because he wanted them to pass that. There have been Republicans who've said, no, in its current form, that's not going to happen. And that housing bill was bipartisan. One of the few things that gets done bipartisan these days. I mean, it's kind of a telling thing when a bipartisan passed bill actually makes headlines, because that used to not be that noteworthy. It is now with the current political climate. It just is. But yeah, he really wants that passed, and who knows? That may be part of the. We may be reading the right tea leaves to think that that may be a hint as to what he's going to talk about tonight as well.
I feel like you can only do this so many times, and look, like it or not, the president's approval ratings are dropping. I feel like it needs to be substantial tonight, the way this has been hyped. And if it's not, there could be fallout from that, not only politically, but from the American people themselves. I mean, is that a risk the president runs tonight if he goes on television and this thing's a nothing burger?
It could, yeah. I mean, there are some of his base is going to be with him no matter what.
Sure.
They will be happy the fact that they got to see him on TV again. It won't matter to a certain section of people who are absolutely with him 100% no matter what. There are the other folks who, I'm not talking about the Democrats. I'm talking about their other Republicans who are still more of the traditional conservative Republican. They are still out there. Not everybody is the MAGA coalition. There's different kinds of Republicans. Those are the folks who are going to be instrumental in the vote for the midterms. The midterms are looming, and for a lot of candidates, that is front and center. That is the thing that they need to focus on to get reelected, to get elected, whatever. If you are looking at, if you're a Republican, you're looking at reelection. And as you mentioned, the president's poll numbers have not been great for weeks now. They've been going down, after, the start of the Iran war. They have not come back up. And if you were hoping for coattails, that's, traditionally, that's not a good sign for you for the midterms. If there's not a presidential election on the ballot, where you're going to have a larger turnout to start with, you're already dealing with probably a lower turnout. There's a lot of factors there. The presidential popularity is one of those. If it does turn out to be, not anything very significant, that is going to be that may be the headline in the morning.
Guys, maybe we're missing the obvious. He's going to take this time to address the nation's most pressing issue, and that is daylight saving time. It's a bipartisan bill.
What?
I'm just saying.
It could be. It could be. Who knows at this point?
I honestly thought you were going to go somewhere else. I thought we were going to talk about UFOs tonight as a country.
Hey, maybe today's the day. We're going to disclosure. It's finally coming. Finally coming. Fox News Radio's Tonya J. Powers. I guess we'll all find out tonight at 9 o'clock. Tonya, thank you so much. Thanks for playing along as well. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Fox News Radio's Tonya J. Powers. You think it is? You think today's the day we find out what's at Area 51?
I don't know, man. I mean, I miss the old days. And I know what she's talking about, and maybe I'm just old. But President Kennedy will address the nation tonight on the matter of utmost importance to national security. President Reagan will talk tonight about this. I mean,
well, you probably got excited about it. Everybody else who was a kid and had 3 channels when the president was on, that ruined your evening. You just want to sit down
all 3.
Yeah, he's on every channel. Okay, all kidding aside for 2 minutes here.
Yeah.
He could, depending on what the president talks about and what he has to say, he could really cause a major headache for Republican leadership in the Senate trying to get bills done, and Republicans who are trying to either get elected or reelected in the November midterms. If he goes down the road of 2020 and the election was stolen, if he goes down that road, TJ, and there's speculation out there that he might, he could cause a major headache to reopen that can of worms again this close to the November elections.
Yeah, he just can't help himself on that issue. He doesn't know when to let it down. And, the whole paper balloting thing, and let's go back to come on, man. Come on. It's 2026. And at some point, you have to let something go, because outside of that MAGA far-right base, and I'm not even sure that they believe it, honestly, as much as they just want to back Trump. The numbers just aren't there. People do not believe it. There's no evidence. Let it go. But I guess, depending on how Iran is going, better to talk about that with the American people than to figure out, okay, are we finally going to do something? Is this thing over? Because that's what he ought to be talking about tonight. Yes. What is our definitive strategy to put an end to this thing? Because the status quo doesn't work anymore.
I don't want to say he could win the day, but he could have a successful address. If that was the address tonight, TJ, this is the goal, this is what we are going to do, and this is how we're going, I'm not saying give away strategy, but this is how we're going to do it. That would be, I don't know if you call it a winning address, but that would be much more effective than if we try to redo the 2020 election process. If we go down that road, that's a loss. That's a loser.
Maybe he will. Maybe this whole we're going to talk about the election thing is just disinformation. And you know what? That's fine. Don't tip your hat.
It's an op.
An hour before the address, you've done whatever you've done in Iran, and this thing is now done. So, I mean, I don't know.
Or we find out there's aliens. Either way. All right. More on this. We'll talk a little bit more about this coming up when Hoppy joins us at 11:06. We'll get to some of your texts now at 304-TALK 304. Phone number is 800-765-TALK. A couple of thoughts on the flock camera controversy. And Huntington's not the only place this is happening. There are communities all over the state that have gone into agreements with flock. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. Data centers in the second hour. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
Located in the heart of West Virginia, Bridgeport is the place to play. Endless indoor and outdoor recreation opportunities, including the Bridgeport Complex, coupled with a dynamic food scene, make Bridgeport the perfect getaway destination for couples and families. Explore unique shopping and pick from a wealth of lodging options to find something perfect for your needs. Explore the heart of West Virginia in Bridgeport. Learn more about all there is to do at greater-bridgeport.com.
Are you ready to reach the finish line of retirement? At the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group, we provide comprehensive guidance for retirement planning in West Virginia. With years of experience, we'll draft a plan tailored for your unique goals. Whether you're just starting or nearing retirement, we make the process as simple as possible, easy, and stress-free. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike to set up a complimentary consultation and get started on your plan today. Let's work toward your dream retirement together.
They say you can't take the lottery with you. But now, you can play anywhere, anytime with iPlay, the West Virginia Lottery's official app. From Cooper's Rock to the Greenbrier River, from the bleachers to your living room, iPlay goes where you do. Safe, simple, and always West Virginia proud. Play anywhere, anytime. Download iPlay today. iPlay, the fun, secure way to play, wherever life takes you. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Wake up with the Metro News Radio Network.
And we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all. Restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
We really had to go towards an LVAD. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
At Daniel's Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniel's is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in-store at Daniel's.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
We're going to do public math, so it's 31 divided by 4.
Yeah, just under 8 per win.
Just mark it down.
Put Tony and I down
Just
for
go.
8, Coach Hunter. Put us on the prediction show for 8. We already got it. There's the math.
Just go. Sports Line on Metro News Television.
Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
304-TALK, 304, the text line, 800-765-TALK, the phone number. Let me get a couple of texts in here. Yes. I listen to audiobooks on long trips when working in the yard or working around the house. All right. We threw that out there as well. Hoppy wrote about how we don't read in this country anymore, or at least like we used to. TJ brought up audiobooks, if that counts as reading. Very convenient. I don't know. I don't know if it counts as reading or not. I don't know.
It counts.
I'm telling you, it's entertainment. All right, fiction or nonfiction? Do you?
So let me ask you this: what is the evidence that one has read a book? The evidence is they can tell you what is in it.
Okay.
Right?
Fair.
They can create a narrative around it. They can hold a conversation around it. I can do the same thing by listening to an audiobook. What's the difference? If there's no tangible difference in the outcome, both are reading.
All right. Hey, you don't have to make your arguments to me. You have to make it to the dean.
I should have held back, yeah, because he's listening, I bet. And so now I've tipped my hat.
See, take a cue from the president. Don't tip your hand too early.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right.
That's good.
304 Talk 304. If Flock is too surveilling and intrusive for good old Los Angeles, then we don't need it. Look to China. That's where the info would go. Texter says, Commissioner Salango in Kanawha County was disingenuous on the Charleston morning show as there are Flock cameras scattered around Kanawha County. Check out the Flock camera map.
One point on that, though. I don't think – I'm going to push back on that a bit. I heard that interview. I don't think Ben was disingenuous. What he said was the county doesn't have them. Privately, they're all over. I got flocked yesterday, and I sent out a pic to
Yes,
the
you
crew
did.
here. That was on – I came to find out, David, that was on private property. It was a private retailer that had installed that. These things are everywhere, folks. And there is a difference between privately installed and what someone does on their own land versus what the government is doing.
And I'm listening to the conversation there we had with Councilor Rumbaugh, Tia Rumbaugh with Huntington City Council, TJ.
Mm-hmm.
The stronger argument, I think as we have this conversation, the stronger or more convincing discussion, argument, whatever you want to call it, is with regard to the Fourth Amendment and how far the government can go. Look, if you walk down any city street, Morgantown, Charleston, Huntington, heck, some of the smaller towns here in Monongalia County, Westover, Star City, Granville, they have these cameras. Look, we've done it already. The social media, the apps know where you are. Your phone knows where you are all the time. I know where my truck is at any given moment in time, TJ. I can look on the app. General Motors knows exactly where my truck is at all time. I had the dealer call me one time and said, hey, you're late for an oil change. We can see, where your oil life is. What I'm saying is, if the argument is we're worried about our privacy, folks, we're being watched all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think the stronger argument is the one you brought up in your commentary on Monday, TJ, is how this applies with regard to the Fourth Amendment. I don't have a good answer to that, but I think that's the more compelling discussion that needs to take place with these local government entities.
Yeah, and to go a bit further on that, the court may well rule, as they did in Chatry, which goes back to Google data on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
They ruled that it constituted a search. They didn't say that Google couldn't do it or the government couldn't do it. What they said is it is indeed a search under the Fourth Amendment. Therefore, you need a warrant to do it. So they didn't necessarily say it was unreasonable. They're saying it's unreasonable if you don't have a warrant. And this may very well could end up the same way, which this repository of data, how long is all of this stored? Again, am I guilty until I am proven innocent? Is everyone a suspect rather than if I suspect something, I need to go before a judge and get a warrant to be able to do this? I think that's really where this gets settled, not necessarily. Look, I don't think that flock cameras are going away. I think it's an answer or a question of how they are used and what a law enforcement entity can or can't do without a warrant. We'll see.
I think TJ, buddy, we're on the same page on this one. It's how is the tool used?
Yeah.
Who has access to the information? How long is that information stored? And how can it be what you don't want? And I get it. And this goes back to our discussion from earlier this week about the social media. I see the clips, too. They're on social media. The algorithms are designed to make you mad. So that's why you see more of the clips of the flock cameras used incorrectly, right? Somebody who gets pulled over whose vehicle fits a description of a stolen car, but it's not them. They're innocent.
Mm-hmm.
We see those on social media. The algorithms push it. What you don't see are the hundreds of arrests that are made because of the cameras catching an Amber Alert. Mike brought up the example here in Monongalia County. There were, 3 suspects from Ohio involved in a murder, and their license plate got dinged on a flock camera. Montague County Sheriff's Department able to respond immediately. They're apprehended. Those don't get pushed to you as much as the other ones because, go back to our previous social media commentary from earlier in the week. So, look, how the information is used, how the Fourth Amendment is applied, I think that's where the real conversation lies. We're being watched. We know. They know. Sheetz knows exactly what I want to order for an MTO when I go later today.
Yeah,
Kroger
and if you
knows
have
exactly what items I'm going to buy.
If you have a problem with that, don't go to Sheetz because that's private property. You are consenting when you step onto their property. When you download the Kroger app, you're consenting. You are giving them that data. Understand that that is voluntary, and understand that what Flock is doing with city governments is not voluntarily conducted. So, yeah, that's the rub. And you're right. I got the same thing on my oil change that you were talking about just 2 weeks ago. And I was like, well, duh. I mean, my phone and app and all that is connected to my duh. So welcome to 26, man. And it's only going to get more intrusive. Wait till they have billboards up on the interstate, Dave, that switch their advertising based on who is going by. Not all the time switching, but they can read your phone and they know what you're into. And I've been thinking about this purchase, and then boom, I'm driving down the road. Hey, TJ, how about this? you laugh. It's coming. It's coming.
I'm just kind of thinking about some of the things that might pop up on the billboard there.
And then the guy that driving next to you is like, what kind of weirdo is that?
304-TALK-304. That's the text line. It's Talkline from the Encove Insurance Studios.
Building a stronger West Virginia isn't just a dream, it's a mission. The High Technology Foundation knows economic diversity is the key. For over 30 years, they've been dedicated to transforming the state's economic landscape. Conveniently located in the heart of West Virginia, innovation, growth, opportunity, all under one roof. There's no need to look far for change. It's happening right here at the High Technology Foundation in North Central West Virginia. Visit WVHTF.org to learn more.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
They say you can't take the lottery with you. But now you can play anywhere, anytime with iPlay, the West Virginia Lottery's official app. From Cooper's Rock to the Greenbrier River, from the bleachers to your living room, iPlay goes where you do. Safe, simple, and always West Virginia proud. Play anywhere, anytime. Download iPlay today. iPlay, the fun, secure way to play, wherever life takes you. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
WVMetroNews.com, the only website you need.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better. And I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniels Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Texter asks, I've been asking this since Hoppy retired. Could he record his Metro News commentary on the website for the vision impaired and people who are driving, etc.? Like old times when he used to record his commentaries, it's more enjoyable. Surely this can be done. Just like audiobooks, everyone does not have time to sit down and read. Would like to hear Hoppy's answer. Thank you, gentlemen. I know you do that when you do your commentaries. You put an audio version up on the website. Might I suggest, Texter, the Morning News Podcast, the Metro News Morning News Podcast that Chris puts together every day, includes the daily news headlines, sports headlines, and the daily commentary as well. Nice, neat package. You can get up to date on everything you need to know. Available where all fun podcasts are available.
So, that's why you get the big bucks. You remember stuff like that. Good call.
Well, the guys put it out there. See, I don't download it because obviously I'm working at that time. I hear it all the time.
Yeah,
but you can get the commentary, news headlines, sports headlines. It's the Morning News Podcast. Hoppy will join us coming up a couple of minutes from now. Later, we'll talk data centers. It's Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Selango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Watching multiple things in the forecast for the state today. Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. Some impacts with fog, haze, wildfire smoke, and also potentially some isolated storms. A number of us east and west there do have major heat risks that are still out there today with highs in the 90s. Friday, I'll start watching for chances of rain. This is the total precip forecast over the next 5 days. Chances Friday night, especially likely for rain chances Saturday and Saturday night. Some heavy and excessive rain may bring in some local flash flood potential again today. Find your spot on the map if you're to the north there. As some of us including Martinsburg, a marginal risk of isolated severe storms. An isolated damaging wind can't be ruled out with a passing storm today. Again, the threat is going to be isolated. High of 89, low at 66 in Charleston yesterday. Haze, fog, smoke. The northern panhandle is included in an air quality alert today. Some of the fires that originated up in extreme northern Minnesota and western Ontario, Canada. We have a northwest wind flow aloft pulling in some wildfire smoke, so there may be some impacts with visibility and air quality this week. Fly Sabre forecast, still some heat for a number of spots here, 90s and up to 101 in Washington, D.C. today with smoke as well. Again, some northern areas, be mindful of low visibility and potentially hits to air quality. May need to take proper precautions with air quality alerts today. And lows in the ranks of the 60s tonight. To the east, still hot. We have highs mid to upper 90s. Martinsburg near 99, 69 tonight. Watching for some patchy, potentially smoke. Haze, smoky skies. Generally near and south of Clarksburg, the slight chance of storms quickly drops. Warm lows in the 60s and 70s, and some hot low to mid 90s in some southern areas today, with some widespread hazy skies possible. Saturday, rain likely. Chance of a strong to severe storm.
This is Ben Selango with Selango Law. Selango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Selango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Selango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
MetroNews Talkline already in progress from the Encova Insurance Studios. Say good morning once again to all of our great radio affiliates in and around the state of West Virginia, or if you're watching in on the MetroNews TV app, Facebook Live, and YouTube. 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. That's the phone number. You can text the show, 304-TALK-304. We'll get into some of your text. Also, currently, the State Public Service Commission is holding an evidentiary hearing on First Energy / Mon Power's request to build a natural gas-fired power plant at the Fort Martin Power Station in Monongalia County. Last night, there was a public hearing. We'll play some of the comments from last night's public hearing for you coming up a little bit later on. Also, Andy Skidmore, president of the Putnam County Commission, will join us. He was recently on a trip up to New York to see a Google data center site. What did he learn there, and what's the latest on the Google data center that is going to be built in Buffalo? We'll talk about that at the bottom of the hour. Say good morning, TJ Meadows in the Charleston Bureau. Good morning, TJ Meadows.
Good morning. Everyone's guessing. Lower third on News Nation. Trump puts final touches on big speech. Nobody knows what the big speech is, though. So there you have it.
I'm going with your idea. Let's go UFOs and aliens and see where we go from there.
Oh, I hope not.
Could be worse. Hoppy Kercheval is the host emeritus. They call him the Dean of Broadcasting in West Virginia. He joins us here in the Encova Insurance Studios this morning. Hop, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
What's your guess the president's going to talk about tonight?
Like everybody else, I assume it's going to be about the bill that he's trying to get passed, about election protection. It's going to be linked to that. And then, as we know the president, it would not be surprising if he dipped back into the 2020 election and allegations that are incorrect, that the election was stolen. So we'll wait and see. But to me, the larger issue about this is if it's mostly about election security, and if he delves into the 2020 election, is that who of the average American is sitting around today worrying about that, right? I mean, what people are worried about today is the price of gasoline, the price of diesel is going back up. The price of diesel fuel just went above $5 a gallon. Prices at the grocery store, trying to afford a home, job security, health care. If they're thinking larger, they're thinking about this ongoing battle with Iran. Those are the kinds of things people are talking about and thinking about. I mean, when was the last time you guys said, let's revisit the 2020 election? I mean, it's not resonating with people, I don't think, except the hardcore MAGA crowd.
Is that because, Hoppy, talking about 2020 and the fact that the president believes the election is stolen, that is easy. Fixing the problems you just talked about is much more complicated. Is that one of the motivations behind why he wants to bring it back up, do you think?
I don't know. I can't speak for him, but everything you read suggests that the people around Trump tell reporters that the president just is obsessed about the 2020 election and just will not accept the fact that he lost, and he keeps coming back to it. And I think, frankly, from what I read, advisors saying, okay, but there are these other things that people are concerned about.
Hoppy Kercheval joining us here in the Encova Insurance Studios this morning. Your commentary over at WVMetroNews.com, the death of deep reading. I got about a paragraph in. I just couldn't get through the whole thing up. So
that's typical of my commentaries. I tell you, I read a couple studies that suggest that the percentage of Americans who are reading books, and yes, TJ, I was listening. Yes, we'll get into what you talked about in the last time out. That is on a precipitous decline. That the percent from the study by the National Endowment for the Arts, fewer than half, 48.5% of all U.S. adults read a book of any type in 2022, the most recent data available. That compares with 53% in 2017, 55% in 2012. In fact, last year, more people placed a bet, 57%, than read a book. Now, I'm not going to jump off the ledge on this. And as TJ pointed out, I don't know if that study took into account audiobooks, because audiobooks have grown in popularity. About 25% of Americans now use audiobooks. But the larger issue is that experts, quote unquote, are concerned that if we're not looking, listening, reading more long-form literature, fiction, nonfiction, that it is decreasing, and we're migrating more toward TikTok and texts and quick videos, that it is reducing our ability to comprehend complicated subjects. Period, exclamation point.
I don't disagree with that at all. How many videos on social media are beyond like a minute? I mean, the only guy I know that does really long-form social media, and I like to watch it, I find it entertaining, is John Stossel. I mean, he still does the 10-minute clip and gets into detail. Not a lot of people do that anymore. I also think there's something to be said for exercising your brain and keeping sharp and being able to, whether that's doing a puzzle, whether that's reading, ensuring that your mental faculties stay sharp. I think the brain's like any other muscle. If you don't use it, it atrophies quite a bit. What do you think, Hop? I mean, I know that's not scientific on my part, but I think there's something there.
Well, I think that's what the research suggests, is just what you said. And I also include in the commentary the pushback from people who say, oh, you're the guy that says get off my yard. that the pushback is, look, why should I read War and Peace, which is 500,000 plus words, when I can ask ChatGPT to summarize and then in a few seconds have some idea what it's about? And I do get that, but you're not going to have the same experience and learn everything else that's in that book by doing that. By the way, I've never read War and Peace, but and there's a great joke, I think it was by Woody Allen, he said, I read Les Miserables. The summary is a guy steals a loaf of bread and never hears the end of it. But I did ask ChatGPT to summarize War and Peace. Okay, here's what it said.
This is going to be good.
It said, let me find it. Against the backdrop of Napoleon's invasion of Russia, War and Peace follows the intertwined lives of several aristocratic families as they search for love, purpose, and meaning while history reshapes the world. So there you go. But again, I think back to TJ, your point is that there is this fear or concern that reading literature is in kind of a death spiral, and that will have an effect culturally and socially and intellectually on how we consume information and how we learn about things and our ability to comprehend things that are complicated. And I add an asterisk that I'm a slow reader. If I get through 4 books in a year, 5 books, that's a good year for me.
So what was the impetus for this, Hot? I mean, were you reading the study, or were you reading and you went,
I was reading. I mean, and I came across it, and I did a little bit deeper dive, and I thought, well, this to me is, rather than writing about Trump again or Morrissey or something, I thought, this is something that is reflective of a change that is ongoing, that can be quantified, that is not fully understood, but may have a long-term impact on us culturally and societally. And that's what caught my attention. I'll tell you a quick story on this, though. That one of my original co-hosts was the late Don Marsh, who was a longtime editor of the Charleston Gazette, who was a brilliant, brilliant guy. And Marsh used to come up with these nuggets of information all the time that just astounded me. And I asked him one day on the air, and I said, Marsh, how did you know that? And he said, there are these things, Hoppy, they're called books. So I was chastised. But that always, so that's all. Like I just finished a book about Iran. And I read it because Brad McElhenney gave it to me, and he had read it. And it was about the Iranian Revolution of 1978 and 79. And it gave me a deeper understanding of what is going on now based on what happened then, which I don't think you can get on social media or on a quick clip.
I'll ask ChatGPT during the break, see what it tells me.
That will save a lot of time.
There's always been someone in my life, as long as I can remember. I'm talking back to grade school, even now, and I will throw her under the bus. I'm thinking about my sister-in-law just recently on vacation, who chastised me and said, "Well, if it's just nonfiction is all you read, then you're not really a reader. It has to be some fiction too." Which I say,
yeah,
I don't agree with that
either.
Yeah, I think, because I'll be honest with you, Hoppy. You said you're a slow reader. I struggle to read fiction. I have no desire. But if something is compelling to me, nonfiction, historical biography, something like that, I'll and again listen, because I like audiobooks all day long. But the fiction stuff just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more of a nonfiction guy too. It just sort of depends, unless there's a beach read or something, or historical fiction. But again, slow reader, slog through as best I can.
Hoppy Kercheval joining us. Read the commentary over at the website, wvmetronews.com. What are you all dressed up for?
There is a West Virginia Leadership Education panel that starts in about a half hour or 45 minutes at the Erickson Alumni Center, and there's a panel of lawmakers, and I'm going to moderate the panel. So you guys have been talking about these issues. We're going to talk about some of these very same issues today with these lawmakers.
That'll be interesting to get their ticket.
Well, everybody talks about it.
They haven't done it. They've been talking about it for, how long? Speaking of commentaries, I wrote one a couple of weeks ago. Long story how I found this article from 1959, right after the legislative session, and one of the complaints was we're not funding schools enough. That was 1959, and roads, by the way.
It's education. I mean, this education issue, and I'm glad that you guys are covering it. And there was a lot of talk about it in the last legislative session. Democrats have called for a special session, and the state leaders need to take a hard look at this. There's just a lot of issues. I mean, there's the outcomes issues. There's the funding issue, which you guys have talked a lot about. There's how long can you fund all the Hope scholarships? There's teacher shortages. There's disciplinary issues. There's absenteeism. There's just all these things that are deeply affecting and impacting what is a constitutional responsibility to provide for a thorough and efficient system of free schools.
I struggle to reconcile the legislature's desire with this yet-to-be-decided issue at the Supreme Court, whether the legislature or the Board of Education, the state board, controls education. The inference is there's too much policy. The state Board of Education has too tight of control. It's too cumbersome. Yet everything the state Board of Education does stems from state code. There's administrative law. So here you have a legislature that says it wants to streamline education, but this is a legislature, over the years, granted, that has put all of this into place. Every policy the State Board of Education has comes from some law in code that then has various administrative law put into place. So I really struggle to understand what they're saying when they want control of education. I think they have it. And if you look at the big blue book Paul Hardesty holds up, I think that's good evidence that they have
Well,
it.
the State Board of Education is sometimes called, or the Department of Education is sometimes called the fourth branch of government, because that board does have a lot of power and authority and certainly a certain amount of autonomy. But it is for and about education, and I'm not sure I would want just the collective wisdom of the politicians to decide one day, like, you know what, in the fourth grade, you really should be teaching X. Like, deal with the broader issues, deal with the funding issues, deal with school consolidation. I mean, deal with some of the broader issues, and let the State Board of Education and county superintendents give them enough flexibility to try to fix things, which is very, very hard to do.
Be careful on your way over. You might get caught by the flock cameras.
You guys have talked about that, and that's interesting. I was thinking, sitting here, is that, look, when you are out in public walking down the street, you're sacrificing a certain amount of your privacy, correct?
Correct.
You're correct. But let's say that Hoppy goes into the porn shop. Not that I would. But Hoppy goes in the porn shop. It's on the camera. And then, 99 times out of 100, nothing comes of it. But what if somebody gets access to that and then spreads it everywhere? Is it different? Is it different then? Is it different than when I just walked in publicly?
Is it different if a flock camera catches that versus Jimmy Lipper on the sidewalk sees you and takes a picture?
I mean, I know what Huntington's trying to do. I mean, they got a crime problem. They're trying to do something about it. But you do, when you're out in public, you do sacrifice a certain amount of your privacy. I think that's where it starts. But,
I think an individual, Jimmy Lippert on the side of the street, is different than a corporate entity who is trying to catalog that information and then expose you or extort you, Hop, and sell it.
Yes.
So,
I mean, that would be an abuse of.
Flock on Ashley Madison. Oh my goodness, that's terrible. I mean, but I could see how that could happen. I could see how we could get to that point, and that's just another thing to worry about.
I mean, it's not a problem until it is a problem.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Hey, very quickly, is an audiobook a book? We didn't get there.
To me, well, a good question, and I did hear you talking about that. I know you're an audiobook guy. I did some quick research.
Okay,
did my own research prior to coming on the air. Some agents, some entities that survey readership don't count them. Some do. I would count it.
Yeah.
I would count it. Right.
It's good enough for me, buddy.
Okay, buddy.
Hop, always appreciate it, bud.
My pleasure. Thanks for
stopping by.
Yeah.
Read Hoppy's commentary over at the website, wvmetronews.com.
Don't listen to it. Read it.
Well, there was a texter that asked if you could post the audio version. I said it's on the podcast with the morning news.
Yeah.
So.
Or listen at 7:35.
That's awful early, though, Hop. We're going to fix daylight saving time, too.
Oh, good.
Did you catch that?
No, well, good. I'm glad you are.
Bipartisan bill. It's going to go through. We're going to fix that as well. All right, Hop. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. We're back in a moment. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
Picture a community where every space tells a story. Those are the communities we're designing at ZLM Architects and Engineers. With a blend of creativity and technical expertise, we design spaces that inspire, innovate, and ignite change. From cutting-edge educational facilities to community-centric gathering spaces, we're committed to improving lives through design. Let us help you shape a brighter future for generations to come. Because at ZLM, it's more than architecture. It's about building your legacy.
Approach your retirement with confidence. With over 150 years of combined experience, the advisors of the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group provide advice and wealth management strategies to individuals, families, small businesses, professional offices, and institutions. With the Stike team, you'll have access to an advising team with extensive resources, a client-first mindset, and a passion for helping transform the lives of those we serve. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike today and join the team that's dedicated to your success.
Hey, this is Brad Howe for your local internet provider, CityNet. For years, rural communities in West Virginia waited for reliable, high-speed internet. Now, fiber is most likely at your front door. Public investment helped build the opportunity, and CityNet delivered the service to homes and businesses just like yours. With free equipment, free installation, no contract, and local support you can count on, switching to fiber has never been easier. Fast downloads, smooth streaming, better connections for work, school, and everyday life. When it's high-speed internet you need, CityNet.net connects, protects, and perfects.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then before I entered into congestive heart failure.
We really had to go towards an LVAD. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Need a truck that's ready for work, weekends, and everything in between? Right now at Dan Cava GMC, get up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500, or save up to $4,000 off all new GMC Canyon Elevations, offering bold styles, advanced technology, and everyday practicality. Come explore our all-new GMC Yukons, built for busy families and big adventures. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thorold.
At Daniel's Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniel's is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in-store at Daniel's.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Let's get some text in here at 304 Talk 304. I need to remind you, though, that jackpots are growing in West Virginia. Jackpots are on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. That's 5 chances a week to get in on life-changing jackpots. Play in-store and online, 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. The Powerball jackpot is $526 million. Mega Millions jackpot, $672 million, so go ahead. Play today. 304 Talk 304. My problem with the flock cameras is the information being stored and how they can use it. On the other hand, if you drive by my house or millions of others, you're being recorded by a camera system or Ring cameras. Wow, Hoppy is looking good today. Love the tie. Hoppy always seems to go back to the 2020 election. That's when he's obsessing over January 6th. Well, to be fair, the president keeps going back to the 2020 election. He may very well do that tonight. And that was the point of the conversation. Some people can read War and Peace and come away thinking it's a simple adventure story. Others can read the ingredients on chewing gum wrapper and unlock the secrets to the universe. Quotes Lex Luthor. Reading has been diminished for our younger generation by the public school system. They pushed computer use. Students do not do book reports, like you said earlier, to verify they can and did actually read a book. A class report is copied from Google. Reading scores from all over the country are... No, I'm going to read it like it's written. Reading scores from all over the country is embarrassing and disconcerting for the future of our country. Audiobooks have their place in necessity.
I'll push back on that. I mean, I won't speak for everybody. My kids still have to read and either do some kind of reading comprehension test or write about what they had read. So I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Producer Jake weighed in during the break, by the way. He says, audiobooks, not reading. They're podcasts.
Jake. No, they're not.
But
podcast. Oh, come on.
Okay. Is the act of reading, is it the actual, I'm talking about the physical stimuli, the act of reading, what sets it apart from the audiobooks, though? Not necessarily the retention of information, but the energy that it takes to read. I don't know if that makes any sense or not. Because you can passively listen. You have to actively read the words either on the page or the screen.
Maybe it's different strokes for different folks. The spoken word has a way, at least for me, of stimulating thought that I think just reading something off of a page does not. It helps me paint a picture in my brain.
Fair enough.
But we're all different.
Texter says, dang, Hoppy is spot on today. Total agreement. I read 50 pages of something every day. Is listening to audiobooks consuming books? Yes. It is acceptable. Yes. Is it reading? No. Listening and reading are completely different activities, says the texter. Texter says, I can respect the porn shop, Hop. 304 Talk 304.
You know, he's not wrong, though. Someone will monetize that.
What's that?
Someone always tries. Put up a bunch of cameras somewhere and then, such and such was seen going into and such a place, and there you go.
Well, that's
and
extortion, isn't it?
Well, I would think so, but you know what? In the day and age we live, how many people respect the law? They try to break it and bend it, and only when someone stands up to them legally do they stop.
304 Talk 304. That's the text line. You can weigh in. We'll talk data centers next. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. It's 11:30. Let's get a news update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening all across the great state of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News. I'm Chris Lawrence. The PSC will hold 2 days of
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Selango Law. Get results, not excuses.
I'll watch in multiple things in the forecast for the state today. Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. Some impacts with fog, haze, wildfire smoke, and also potentially some isolated storms. A number of us east and west there do have major heat risks that are still out there today with highs in the 90s. Friday, I'll start watching for chances of rain. This is the total precip forecast over the next 5 days. Chances Friday night, especially likely for rain chances Saturday and Saturday night. Some heavy and excessive rain may bring in some local flash flood potential again today. Find your spot on the map if you're to the north there. And some of us including Martinsburg, a marginal risk of isolated severe storms and isolated damaging wind. Can't be ruled out with a passing storm today. Again, the threat is going to be isolated. High of 89, low at 66 in Charleston yesterday. Haze, fog, smoke. The northern panhandle is included in an air quality alert today. Some of the fires that originated up in extreme northern Minnesota and western Ontario, Canada. We have a northwest wind flow aloft pulling in some wildfire smoke, so there may be some impacts with visibility and air quality this week. Fly saver forecast, still some heat for a number of spots here, 90s and up to 101 in Washington, D.C. today with smoke as well. Again, some northern areas, be mindful of low visibility and potentially hits to air quality. May need to take proper precautions with air quality alerts today. And lows in the ranks of the 60s tonight. To the east, still hot. We have highs mid to upper 90s. Martinsburg near 99, 69 tonight. Watching for some patchy, potentially smoke. Haze, smoky skies. Generally near and south of Clarksburg, the slight chance of storms quickly drops. Warm lows in the 60s and 70s, and some hot low to mid 90s in some southern areas today, with some widespread hazy skies possible. Saturday, rain likely. Chance of a strong to severe storm.
This has been
Academy cadets find a secure, structured haven where success is highly attainable. Graduates can then elevate their future with Mountaineer Job Challenge with hands-on career training, gaining industry certifications and job placements. It's more than education, it's transformation. Ready to earn your diploma and change your life? Discover the challenge at wvchallenge.org.
Selango with Selango Law. Selango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Selango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Selango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at selangolaw.com.
Look, Chris Lawrence.
More of your texts coming up at 304 Talk 304. Phone numbers 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. We'll get back to the text line in just a bit. Members of the Putnam County Commission say Google will hold a town hall meeting in the not-too-distant future to discuss its plans for a data center near Buffalo. The commission recently visited a Google data center site in New Albany, Ohio. I might have said New York previously. I beg your pardon. New Albany, Ohio, to tour the data center and talk with Google officials. On that tour, Putnam County Commission President Andy Skidmore, who joins us on MetroNews Talkline this morning. Andy, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So the commission recently went on that visit to the New Albany, Ohio site to tour the data center. What were your expectations and what did you learn?
You know, I don't have a good history on data centers. The first real contact we've had on this project was, I think it was the end of March, like March 27th. So it took about 3 months to do a deep dive. And when you get into that on the internet, there's a lot of things out there and a lot of information. And what I'm finding is it's not all completely accurate for sure. You know, we had an opportunity to go to that New Albany site just outside Columbus. And the one thing I can tell you right off the bat is not all data centers are created equal. I think we're very fortunate that Google is the one locating in our county.
Talk to me about zoning in New Albany. If anyone is at all familiar with New Albany, it is a very affluent area, suburb of Columbus. There is let's just say, there's a lot of money there. There's a lot of zoning restrictions. There are multi-million-dollar homes left and right in New Albany. If Google has been able to successfully blend into the New Albany community, do you think they'll be able to do so here, where, quite frankly, we probably don't have as strict of zoning, but we have a high expectation that these data centers not be a menace to the community?
Yes, absolutely. And you know, there are some differences. What we wanted to see is this site plan is very similar to the site plan that they want to build in Buffalo. The difference is the New Albany site is actually located on a 9,000-acre industrial park, but you do have subdivisions within a half a mile of, you know, $500,000 homes or more located very close to multiple data centers. And, you know, I think the difference is this is obviously in Buffalo, it's a more rural site. You have a lot of people that have lived there for a long time and gotten used to that. And just any change at all is traumatic and something that it takes a while to digest. I mean, we can go back to the late 90s when Toyota located there. There was a lot of pushback for Toyota. Now it's a part of the community.
Andy Skidmore is joining us. Putnam County Commission President recently visited a Google data center site in New Albany, Ohio. What surprised you on that tour?
You know, just how the facility was like any normal manufacturing industrial. It's super clean, well put together. It was very well thought out of how things were organized. I don't see it being a huge disruption to anyone around it. And one thing, a point to consider is the site, again, very similar in size to what they want to build in Buffalo. And at Buffalo, they have over 1,700 acres. This Google site was less than 900 acres. So they have a lot of area to create a buffer between the center itself and the rest of the community.
Noise is always brought up. When you were there, did you feel like the noise was excessive? Did you feel like it was within tolerable levels?
Yeah.
Just give me your impression there.
Very, very surprised and pleasantly surprised at that. You know, we were there, their site at New Albany, they have 6 units there. They're building the 7th unit. And again, that's very similar to what's being proposed in Buffalo. And, you know, as we know, technology is always changing and updating. They've got it down to the point there where the decibel levels are 55 and below. And we actually have a county ordinance, again, with House Bill 2014. They don't necessarily have to comply with that. But our county ordinance, even at nighttime, is 65 decibels. So they're below those standards. And the way they talked with their engineering design, they're actually even trying to bring it down further than that.
Talking to Andy Skidmore, Putnam County Commission President. What has the relationship been like between you all on the county commission and the executives with Google who are in charge of the Buffalo project?
It's been a short relationship as far as the county commission's involved. Again, we first met them on March 27th. I think they purchased the property a couple days before that, but we really had no contact with them up until that time. So the last 3 months, it's been kind of a fast and furious, but all I can say is I've been impressed. The questions we've asked have been answered. For the community, they created a website, www.buffalowvdatacenter.com. And you can, residents, anyone can put a questions on there and get questions answered. There's a lot of information. That how forthcoming they've been has just been pleasantly surprising.
Many concerns again about water. As you've talked with them about water use, and I assume it's a closed loop system. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but are you satisfied that Google's design mitigates any water concerns?
Yeah, in talking to them, and they have some proprietary information that they use in their centers that I think they're actually even looking at working with other centers to help them become better. So, we've got the Kanawha River. Anyone that's lived on the Kanawha River knows what type of water we have in the Kanawha River. And so they seem very forward-thinking in trying to get to the point of their goal is by 2030 to return 120% of potable water of what they use. So they're trying to take some of the water sources they have and actually clean it up to make it better than it is now.
Andy Skidmore visiting with us, Putnam County Commission President. It was stated there in your last County Commission meeting or recent County Commission meeting, there is a town hall in the works. Any details on that as of today?
Yeah, it's a little premature for that, but I did want to get out there that they did stress to us that they want to host a town hall for all the residents to come. This permitting process, this doesn't happen overnight, and something of this size, and they're working through all the permitting with the Army Corps of Engineer and DEP and things like that. So as that time gets closer, they definitely stress the importance of hosting a town hall meeting to get a lot of those questions answered. But this website, I tell you, is a great resource for those that have questions and those that have more questions that aren't being answered yet. They've been so responsive that is the way to try to get your information.
Andy, as you know, I'm a Putnam County guy. I live in the Valley. We've lived there, I think, 15, 16 years almost now. My impression from just driving around and listening to people, yes, there are some people that have concerns. Yes, there are some people that outright do not want this. But I also think a large part of the community has embraced and has listened and sees this as an opportunity for Putnam County. We tend to have that kind of people in the Valley. We like you said, there were some rough waters with Toyota, but we embraced it. Right. What do you think the difference is between us and others? Because let's face it, some West Virginia communities, they don't want these. In Putnam County, we seem more open to it. What's the difference?
I think it is. I think, Putnam County historically has been a rural area, but, that has changed over the last 30 years. And I think that's continuing to change. We tend to have a little bit more of a transient population of people that are locating here for jobs that may only be here 5 or 6 years and move on. I've noticed that even within my own neighborhood. But, one thing with this data center, that there's just so much misinformation out there. And don't get me wrong, there are some bad actors in the data center world. And I can't stress them enough. Having Google as the one locating our county is very important. One instance is, we got to go visit, and there were 800 to 1,000 people working that day. That they're day-to-day workers. About half of those are Google employees, and about half of them are contracted services. So you see all these rumors, there's only going to be 10 people working, there's only going to be 40 people working. That is totally not the case. And then they had another unit under construction, and you had 600-700 tradespeople working, building that factory. They anticipate that we would have under construction that would last 12 to 15 years. You're talking about 600 to 700 people in the trades working during that time frame.
That's a significant impact. You can't even quantify that. I mean, you probably could, Andy, but that would be hard to quantify the positive economic impact on not just Putnam County, but that entire region.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those that are concerned, I 100% get it, because in my 3-month research, I don't have my doctorate on it yet, but in my 3-month research, You can see that, there are those bad actors. There are those companies that don't have the capital to do things the right way. And again, we're just happy that Google is the one that, because, let's go back to the story of this. AEP owned the land. They're not going to sell to anybody that's not a high energy user. So, Google purchasing this land, choosing to locate their data center there. If anybody's going to do it, I'm glad it's Google.
I do feel like, as I hear you talk, this is popping into my mind. See if it holds water. Because Putnam County is dealing with Google, who seems to be doing it the right way, that learning and that expectation that they are setting, the next guy that comes along in Putnam County, if they can't build at the same level and do things the same way, they're not going to be successful there. So
absolutely,
I feel like we're kind of blessed that it is a Google up front, and now it sets a standard that's going to be hard for everybody else to meet, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, I can tell you, TJ, if there's anything else that comes behind this, they better have their stuff together because the example's been set.
He's Andy Skidmore, Putnam County Commission President. Andy, we'll continue to follow this. Keep us posted when meetings are available, and we appreciate you coming on.
All right, thanks so much, guys.
Absolutely. Andy Skidmore, Putnam County Commission President. Take that thought one step further, TJ.
Okay.
About Google setting the example. Does it set the standard then statewide? Not just Putnam County coming along, but the next developer who wants to build a data center complex. Is that the standard that, are you going to be compared to the Google complex in Buffalo?
I think so. I think so. That's an excellent point, Dave. And I buy in. I haven't done nearly as much research as Andy has, but I think there's 2 or 3, and I'm not going to name names. I don't want to do that. But there are 2 or 3 that do this right and are outstanding and do it with excellence. And I think those are the guys that, for the most part, I think we're courting here. And that's a good thing. Set the standard high. And let me just say this too, brag on Andy Skidmore for a second. Live in the Valley, known him for a long time. Excellent public servant. Does a outstanding job for Putnam County, and we're lucky to have him and lucky to have a guy like him out in front on this there, frankly.
Andy mentioned this. We talked about it in the pre-show meeting. We might get into this a little bit tomorrow, maybe next week. Some of the information that is out there, again, on social media, but is out there in internet land. There was a New York Times article. I sent it to you this morning. Mm-hmm. This wasn't, the overnight show. This wasn't the tinfoil hat crowd. This was the New York Times reporting Russia and China are actively dispersing misinformation about data centers to persuade Americans to be opposed to them because it benefits Russia and China. Like I said, we'll tease that a little bit. We'll get more into that next week, but that's the New York Times reporting, TJ. Not tinfoil hat. That's not Alex Jones. That's the New York Times reporting this stuff is happening.
I think it's plausible. I mean, this is space race, 5.0, 6.0, whatever version that we're on. And I think it also feeds in. It's different, but there's enough parallels there because these will probably be large centers as well. Quantum computing is the next thing to come after this. And the race for quantum computing that opens up an entirely just different world in terms of what we can do now with computing based on the variable state and what we'll be able to do then. That has real national security concerns.
304-TALK, 304. That's the text line, 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. The rest of the show belongs to you. We'll get to your thoughts next. CityNet is West Virginia's local internet provider. High-speed, reliable fiber internet is probably right at your front door. Now is the perfect time to connect with local customer support you can trust. It's perfect for working from home, streaming, or gaming. Fast, reliable fiber internet built for everyday life. When it's high-speed internet you need, CityNet.net connects, protects, and perfects. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
WVU Medicine's reconstructive urology program offers expert, personalized care for complex conditions, from trauma and strictures to erectile dysfunction and incontinence. Our nationally recognized specialists use advanced techniques, including robotic surgery and prosthetic implants, to help you reach your goals. Schedule your consultation today at 855-WVU-CARE or visit wvumedicine.org/urology.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The Health Plan. We are here for you.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Metro News this morning, the biggest.
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
304 Talk 304, that's the text line. Let me get some of these texts in before we clear our way at the top of the hour. 304 Talk 304, I don't understand why so many people in this state fight reasonable progress or chance to get more tax revenue. No wonder everybody in the country thinks we're backward and ignorant, says the texter. Texter says, some days I miss Hoppy doing the show, other days not so much. I'll take that as a compliment, I think.
As a politician once said, you can take that a couple of different ways.
Call Capito and Justice, tell them to sign the bill to make daylight savings time permanent. Oh, boy. Everybody's talking about that. Have you, I don't know if you check around the podcastosphere or some of the national stuff, but people, that seems to be the topic du jour to rile people up, daylight saving time.
I told Dave Allen yesterday on his show, they were talking about that issue. And I said, well, if somebody wants to kill it, all they have to do is attach some kind of rider to the bill that says we have to fix the national debt, no more deficits, and it'll be done.
Oh, I thought you were going to say attach the SAVE Act to it.
Well, they might do that too. I mean, Washington loves Christmas treeing.
304 Talk 304. Dave and TJ, audiobooks certainly count as at least an intellectual and comprehension equal to actual books, if for no other reason than obliging visually impaired and blind folks to be able to read. Example of audio reading text. When TJ reads text, they come to life, says the texter.
Thank
you. Visual, audio, and tactile learning are all invaluable, and everyone learns differently. Keep reading, listening, viewing, and creating. Kids are all right. Google alone is bigger than any public library you have ever been in, and it gives you handheld access 24/7. If you think kids today are dumber than we were in the 80s, you're just silly. In the U.S. alone, an estimated 4.2 million books are published each year. There is more accessible information available every second of every day in this world, and there are more than 1 billion guns in the world, with 8.7 billion to 15 billion bullets being sold each year in the U.S. I don't connect the dots there.
Read books, shoot guns, Marca.
All right, we got to get a T-shirt business going on. We've got to get a T-shirt business. Hey, Dave and TJ, we had a prime example of misinformation here in Doddridge County when we were getting a huge natural gas processing plant. One person said if the plant were to explode, everyone within a 20-mile radius was in danger of death. Excuse me, but I can look down into the plant from adjacent ridges, so it is not at the highest point in the county. Am I just out of touch, or do blast waves travel in a straight line like I thought? If so, how would the explosion travel through the hills and get me 15 miles away? They don't teach geography in school anymore? Well, no, nobody's reading books. We established that. But, Dexter, to your point, to the first point you made, many of the same arguments, TJ, we've talked about this, that were made 10, 12 years ago about the fracking industry and about the natural gas industry and the Marcellus Shale are the same types of arguments we're hearing when it comes to data center development.
What county school system is like number 2 in terms of funding?
Doddridge, man.
I rest my case.
Doddridge County. All right, got to take our final break. Back in a minute. Final call for text, final call for phone calls. This is Talkline from the Cove Insurance Studios.
Right now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow. West Virginia's grid is old, overloaded, and falling behind. That means fewer jobs, less investment, and a future we can't afford to risk. Valley Link and Marl are the fix. Modern transmission lines that strengthen reliability, attract manufacturing, and put West Virginians to work. Investment here, jobs here, a more reliable, stronger grid right here. Learn more at powerwvnow.org. Paid for by West Virginians for reliable and affordable energy.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Daniel's Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniel's is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in-store at Daniel's.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then before I entered into congestive heart failure,
we really had to go towards an LVAD. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world!
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
Need a truck that's ready for work, weekends, and everything in
Jackpots are growing in West Virginia. Jackpots are on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. Powerball jackpot is $526 million. Mega Millions jackpot is $672 million. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. So everybody's worried about the flock cameras, TJ?
Mm-hmm.
Remember we had the social media discussion today? We're all going to quit social media. Social media is bad, rage bait, blah, 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 blah.
I remember that.
So, again, like you, my phone sits right here next to me during the show. You never know when you're going to get a text. However, I have noticed, and I don't know if this is causation or correlation, a lot less of the rage bait coming through on my social media feeds. Much more of the car videos, jokes, sports, much less of the rage bait since I said I was going to quit social media the other day. And you're worried about the flock cameras? I'm just saying. I'm just saying, man.
Touche.
It's Talkline on Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.